I just saw the movie Do Revenge starring Camila Mendes as Drea and Maya Hawke as Eleanor. I'm not going to spoil it, I just want to say what I enjoyed about it. So the first thing is the costume design. It was phenomenal. I also loved how it was written and how it was directed. Drea reminded me so much of a mixture of Regina George and Janice Ian from Mean Girls. And I have a lot more things that I want to discuss with this movie, but I just don't want to spoil it. I'll just finish by saying this movie was a roller coaster of emotions, and I can't wait to watch it again. If you like movies like Mean Girls or Clueless, I think you'll like this movie. The Office is one of my favorite shows. It's a mockumentary about the American workplace. I love how it's portrayed in the show. I'd really love to work in a place where your coworkers feel like family. My favorite characters are Dwight, Kevin, Pam, Daryl, and Jim. I also love Stanley, Kelly, Toby, and Aaron. The best episode is tied for me personally. It's between Dinner Party and Beach Games, but I also love The Wedding in Niagara Falls. The Office will probably be known as one of the best shows ever. And I just love this show, adore it, can't wait to watch it again and again and again. Kim Possible and Inuyasha were my favorite shows as a kid. The villains in Kim Possible are like they have an amazing, like, interesting back and forth. It's as if they're frenemies. Shigo is definitely my favorite character. The animation, the storyline, and voice acting are perfect. The show is executed so well. It has 4 seasons on Disney Plus if you want to check it out. I've seen this show too many times to count. My favorite episode is either season 4, episode 2, The Big Job, or season 3, episode 2, Emotion Sickness. My favorite movie is So the Drama. So the Drama. Without spoiling anything, let me know in the comments if you like the twist that happens in the credit scene for the finale. I personally love it, and I love this show. It's great for people of all ages. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm giving it a huge recommendation. I hope you enjoy it. This is a review for Ghostbusters Afterlife. 32 years after the events of the original Ghostbusters, the roles of the Ghostbusters get passed on to kids. It starts off a tad slow. The pacing is not, it's not bad, but it's just, it's a bit drawn out. When Paul Rudd gets introduced, it picks up from there. Paul Rudd is the main highlight. However, McKenna Grace does a fantastic job as Phoebe. I loved Phoebe's jokes. They were so funny. I loved the settings that they chose. The special effects were superb, and it had a wonderful score, a great score by, I think it was Rob, sorry, I'm trying to blank to his name, but it's Rob something, I'm pretty sure. I personally actually found the nostalgic moments to be very sweet and well done. This was a very well-written movie. I like the cameos a lot, and the post-credit scene, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the post-credit scene is really good too. There were 2 post-credit scenes that were both good. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you'll check out Ghostbusters Afterlife. Thank you. The Princess Bride is one of my favorite films. It's a visually perfect film, to me at least. At some points, it feels like a play, and I'm pretty sure that's intentional. I love the characters, and the dialogue is super quotable. Without spoiling anything, I'll let you know my favorite part is the sword fight between the dreaded pirate Roberts and Inigo Montoya. I love the chemistry between all of the actors in this film. I really love that it's told as a narrated story being read from a grandfather to his grandson. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. This is my 3rd favorite movie. Happy Halloween! Today I'll be reviewing horror films and shows. Halloween is my favorite tradition. I hope you enjoy my videos. This review is for the Scream franchise. I love the Scream movies. This is the order that I like them in. Scream 1, which is a 5-star rating from me. followed by Scream 5, which is also a 5-star rating. Then Scream 2, which is a 4.5 star. Then the show from, I think it's on Netflix. Yeah, the Scream show is number 5 for me. Not number 5. That's off the list I have. It's after Scream 2 is the show Scream, and I give it a 4-star rating. Then is Scream 4, which is a 3.5 star rating. And finally Scream 3, which is a 3-star rating. So overall, this series is at a 4-star rating for me. This franchise is a horror comedy that focuses on a satirical look at the horror genre. The story of Sidney Prescott is an interesting one, and I hope you'll enjoy this series as much as I do. Hereditary is currently my 8th favorite movie. It's directed by Ari Aster and stars Toni Collette. It follows a woman whose mother has passed away and the aftermath of what the family goes through. The cinematography, acting, writing, directing, editing, literally everything is on point and phenomenal in this movie. If you like horror movies and haven't seen Hereditary yet, I recommend you go watch it. This is a review for both John Carpenter's The Thing and the prequel with Mary Elizabeth Winstead. So John Carpenter's The Thing is a great horror film. The effects look amazing, and I love the story. I'm hooked from beginning to end. It's a 5-star film. It's a 5-star film for me. However, the prequel starring Mary Elizabeth Winstead is not quite as good. It's still a good horror movie. Its main problem is that they relied too heavily on CGI, and some of it doesn't look very good. The acting in both are wonderful, though. The actors in both of these films, I can't even think of a bad, like they were all good. I recommend watching both if you're interested in horror films. Watch them in whichever order you want to. Okay, thanks, bye. Here's my review of The Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea. I watched this a lot as a kid, and I really wanted to share it with anyone who hasn't seen it yet. It's on Disney Plus if you're interested. The colors throughout the film really popped out for me. I loved the way so much of it had an ombre effect and were bright and lots of use of pastels. The music is just as good as the first film, to be totally honest with you. I really liked the friendship between Morgana and Undertow. I also loved Tip and Dash. Titanic, Tip, and Daring Dash, Adventurers / Explorers. It's so funny. I also love Sebastian. He's really funny, and he does not change from the first movie. He's like the exact same as he was in the first movie. Ariel and Flounder, on the other hand, matured a lot since the first movie. Like, Ariel is super mature, and Flounder, it has kids too. Like, they both just grew up. It's really good. And interesting was the word I was looking for. Not good, but good works. The first Little Mermaid is one of my favorite movies, and its sequel is honestly tied, as if it's just a part 2 to the series. If you haven't seen it before, I definitely recommend it. Unhinged is one of the most suspenseful films I've ever seen. It's about a man who begins following a woman around in a car, and he attacks her friends and family. Russell Crowe is fantastic. The other actors are great too. However, the highlight is definitely Russell Crowe. I love this movie, and I hope you do too. Okay, thanks for my quick review of Unhinged. It's fantastic. Go watch it, please. Please, please, please. Bye. Disney's animated film Hercules is a great movie. It has beautiful and captivating scenes. The casting choices are excellent. The direction is perfect. And the writing, so good. The writing in this movie is so good. The story and songs are very engaging. You'll want to sing along to every song, especially I Won't Say I'm in Love if you're like me. I Won't Say I'm in Love takes over my soul, and I always sing with it. My favorite characters in the movie are Meg and Pegasus. And my favorite part is when Hercules fights against the Hydra. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. It's a very good movie. Step Brothers stars Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. It's about two immature men who live with their parents, and they become stepbrothers when their parents marry each other. This is a great movie if you enjoy inappropriate humor, and I definitely do. I love Adam Scott, and he's just as good as in this as he is in everything, and I believe this is his debut role. I mean, his character is a bully, but Adam Scott is wonderful. I also really love the opening title when they meet for the first time and it says Step Brothers in between the two of them. But every time I try to screenshot it, it doesn't work for some reason on my phone, so I'm just gonna put it here. I can't say too much more without spoiling, so I'll just say that if you enjoy dark humor or inappropriate humor, you'll probably like this movie. You've probably already seen this movie. 27 Dresses stars Katherine Heigl and James Marsden. It's about a woman who wants to have a wedding, yet she continues to be the bridesmaid, not the bride. I love Katherine Heigl. Both her and James Marsden are great in this movie. I like their chemistry a lot. This is a fun rom-com and a great film for date night. If you're looking for a little like date night movie, 27 Dresses is that movie. Judy Greer is also fantastic, as always. I recommend this movie if you haven't seen it yet. Bye. Jennifer's Body stars Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried. I can't really give the plot away because it kind of spoils the movie. Essentially, this is about two best friends who go to a bar together, and one of them gets put into a bad situation which changes her. This is a good movie to show to teenage girls as an awareness about stranger danger, and a good movie for anyone to be made more aware of who you choose to be around so you're not around people who you shouldn't be around. It's wonderfully directed and very well told. This movie is definitely one of my favorites, and I recommend it to anyone who can handle scenes of violence and blood. I don't recommend it if you don't much like movies that are on the graphic side. So, yeah, I give this one a 4-star review. Thanks. Bye. The Other Guy stars Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. It's about two police officers who get involved in a case that bonds them because they don't like each other at first. This movie has so many great quotes. My favorite is, "I'm a peacock, you gotta let me fly." So funny. This movie is really funny, and Ferrell and Wahlberg have excellent chemistry. I like the story told in this movie. The case they are trying to solve keeps you invested. Well, that and the comedic genius of the writing of this film. Zoe Lister-Jones makes an appearance in this movie too, and I'm just mentioning that because I love her. She's amazing. I can't wait to see The Craft Legacy directed by her. I recommend this movie. Even if you don't like it at first, my suggestion is to give it a chance and watch it until the end. It's a 5-star rated movie for me. The first Cloverfield movie was shot in found footage style, and it was about people trying to survive a creature attacking New York City. It's a 4-star movie for me. The second film, 10 Cloverfield Lane, is about a woman being held captive in a bunker because her kidnapper believes that there's something terrible happening outside. It's a solid 5-star rated film for me. In the third film, Cloverfield Paradox, we follow a crew in space as they deal with space stuff. This is the lowest rating I've ever given thus far, at a 2. I love this trilogy. Even the last one is a fun movie. It's just not very good, unfortunately. Though the effects are well done and it is a movie set in space, so there are some good visuals. I just think they needed more time or something to to help make it better. 10 Cloverfield Lane is one of my favorite movies, and I highly recommend watching it, even if you haven't seen the first Cloverfield movie. Oh, and fun fact, neither of the following movies were made to be a part of the Cloverfield series. J.J. Abrams just made them that way later. Thanks for watching. The Big Bang Theory stars Johnny Galecki, Jim Parsons, Kaylee Cuoco, and Howard and Raj. Just kidding. Their names are Simon Helberg and Kunal Nair. I'm pretty sure I just butchered his name, but it's Kunal Nair, I believe. I'm very bad with pronouncing names. Sorry. It's a sitcom about a group of scientists and Penny who are also really into video games and comic books. It's a fun show and it's quite funny. It's not one of my favorite shows, but I think personally it'll be known as one of the best shows of all time. I'm not going to spoil it, but I will say the finale makes me cry every time I've seen it or I've watched it, which is 3 times. My personal rating of the show is 4 stars. It honestly would be a 5-star show if it didn't have so many contradictions. Like Sheldon has an eidetic memory, but he does have moments throughout the show that suggests he doesn't have that good of a memory. I don't want to give examples because it's kind of spoiling. And also, young Sheldon contradicts a little bit too much of the Big Bang Theory as well. But that's a show that we're gonna get into another time. I recommend this show if you enjoy comedies. My favorite character is Amy, and my least favorite is Leonard. Okay, thanks for watching. The Nice Guys stars Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe and was directed by Shane Black. It's about two private investigators who team up to solve a case. This is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It's tough for me to pick a favorite character. It's tied between the two leads, but I also really like the daughter. I highly recommend watching this movie if you haven't already. 5-star review for me. Here are 5 quick movie reviews. The first one is Avatar. With the second movie in the series getting released soon, I figured I'd make a review of the first one. The second film is called The Way of Water. I like the first Avatar movie, however, I love the potential this series has so much that it changes my rating from 3 stars to 4 stars. Avatar, unfortunately, is a bit too predictable and relies on some tropes, but the potential for this series that has been established by the world building and the story itself will keep me gripped and most likely on the edge of my seat during the second film. The premise for Warm Bodies is essentially what would happen if the story of Romeo and Juliet was set in a zombie apocalypse, but Romeo is a zombie and Juliet is human. I love this movie, and I've read most of the book. It is very different from the movie. I personally like the movie more. 5 stars for me. Annihilation stars Natalie Portman and Oscar Isaac, and I don't want to spoil anything by explaining the plot, so I'll just say if you like strong female-led movies and sci-fi, you'll really like this movie. 5 stars from me. The Craft is about a girl who starts attending a new school and ends up in a group of girlfriends who practice witchcraft. I adore this movie and the story told. It's very similar to my favorite movie, Mean Girls. 5 stars from me. The Time Traveler's Wife stars Eric Bana and Rachel McAdams and is about a man who travels through time without intending to. This hits him randomly throughout his life and it makes for a very interesting story. 4 stars from me. 21 and 22 Jump Street star Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. They're both about rookie cops who have to go undercover to do a drug bust. The first movie is set in a high school, the second is set in a college. I love these movies. They're hilarious. Jonah Hill is one of my favorite comedians, and he slays in these movies. I can't spoil anything. I'm just gonna say both are 5 stars from me, and I recommend watching them if you like silly and fun movies. You've probably already seen them though. This is my review for American Horror Story. I've only seen seasons 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8. The first season is my favorite, followed by the 8th season, and my least favorite was 2, even though I still very much enjoyed it. I just didn't like it as much as the other seasons I watched. I would love to watch all of this show, it's just that I have no way to watch it right now. I've seen parts of seasons 4, 5, and 9, but I haven't seen anything from seasons 6, 10, or 11. So I'm gonna rank like 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8 only. From what I have seen, I love this show and definitely recommend it if you like stories that are constantly evolving and changing where you originally thought the story was going to end up at. This show has an element of being unpredictable, and I adore it. Hey, I just wanted to make a quick paranormal activity review of the first three movies. The first paranormal activity movie was marketed as a true found footage film, similar to what they did with the Blair Witch Project. It's an alright movie, not too bad, not too good. That's also how I feel about the sequel. It's not too bad, not too good. I like the parts with the baby the most, which is the majority of the movie. The third one is my favorite of the first three Paranormal Activity movies. In my opinion, it's the most well made and thought out of the three, as well as being the scariest. 3 stars for the other two, 4 stars for number three. Thank you. Bye. The Cabin in the Woods was directed by Drew Goddard and stars Kristen Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, Anna Hutchinson, Fran Kranz, and Jesse Williams. It's about a group of friends who spend some time at one of the friends' cousin's cabin. Can't say anything more than that, or else I'll be spoiling it. This is a great horror comedy to go into knowing very little about. Don't watch a trailer or anything like that if you plan on watching this movie. I love the story and the characters. This movie was written in such a clever and fun way. I highly recommend this movie, unless you're underage, and I'm giving it 5 stars.